Last time on Square Roots. C'est moi, le loup-garou. Mes parents m'ont couru à manière d'un chien. Maintenant, j'ai pu me lécher les coulisses sous la pleine lune.
How was her French, Johnny?
I think she said she's going to lick her balls under the full moon.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Square Roots. As I always say, I'm your host, Johnny Brandon, and with me, as always, is Vanessa Loup-Garou. Vanessa.
Girl. Her fake name on the show is Vanessa Girl.
Oh, right. Vanessa Loup-Garou Girl.
Vanessa Loup-Garou?
Mm-hmm.
Garou?
Girl.
Hi, Johnny. Thank you for saying that, as you always say it.
Mm-hmm. And also with me is Matthew Hives Van Zant.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Matthew Van Zandt.
Ooh, I don't like that.
I'll be talking like this the whole time.
I don't like it. And also, our favorite host, who's definitely going to finish this game, Jim Banks.
Oh, hi there, everybody. I'm here to finish this game. Oh, howdy ho, neighbors. It's me, Jim Banks, your favorite reporter.
Hey, Jim.
And I'm definitely here, and I'm going to finish this game.
Yeah,
Jim,
you finished the game this week, right, Jim? Because we finished.
Oh,
finished chapter
definitely.
7.
Oh, Baldur's Gate. What a good game. Oh, I can't really do a Kermit voice, guys. Let me try. Oh, howdy ho there, neighbors. It's me, Jim Banks.
Oh, was he Kermit? I thought it was Mickey.
I was trying to do... I can't do a good Kermit.
Howdy ho. I guess I have to contort my voice more like this.
There you
You're
go.
starting to get it, but you're still pretty far off.
Pretty Mickey for a Kermit.
Maybe make him sound like Pete. You do a good Pete.
Oh, hello. No, I can't do that. That'd bring up feelings, and I don't want that to happen.
Nobody wants Jim to have a sexy voice.
Yeah.
Pete's voice is not fucking sexy.
Says you.
Yes.
Common sense. He talks like this. Wait, what was that?
Yeah.
That was Cookie Monster.
Anyway, so on this podcast, we play
Vanessa, did Johnny say what we do on this show?
classic
He's about to.
RPG. One chunker at a time. And this classic RPG we're playing is the beloved Baldur's Gate. And the chunk we're playing is the part where you finish the vanilla game, Chapter 7. But
We also played the interlude for Siege of Dragonspear.
that's that little prologue. You know, like in a James Bond movie where there's a little adventure James Bond happens before the credit sequence. It's like that. It's the little...
I do know what you mean.
Play more, but didn't, because let's be honest, the next time on this season has been real sloppy, and we all know whose fault that is.
Mine.
Jim Banks.
Oh.
Oh, geez, sorry about that, guys. Howdy ho, it's me, Jim Banks, your friendly neighborhood reporter, and I forgot to play the rest of this game.
I thought you just told us you finished it.
I lied.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I sit on a... Nope. Well, you know, I sit on a throne of lies.
I don't know what that voice is, but it is not Kermit the Frog.
Well, you know.
Nor is it Jim Banks.
Nor is it Jim Banks. I don't want to
like, hey, guys. Hey. Hey, it's Jim. Hey, guys.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. Jim Banks.
Before we get to the quest log, however, we like to do a couple of different segments. Sometimes we do a hot gaming news segment. There is a lot of hot gaming news, but we're not doing that this time. We are doing level up first. And Matthew, how'd you level up?
We could do a shorty little hot gaming news. You got a hot piece of gaming news that's worth discussing?
Well, how do you feel about Sega buying Rovio, makers of Angry Birds and pretty much nothing else?
I feel like it's a decade too late for that to be a relevant thing. Like, what? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna buy a Snuggie right now, I guess, because that's what we're doing. We're buying things a decade out of.
Well, I'm going to invest heavily into LMFAO, the party rock anthem. I think will be a hot seller. And I guess probably if they did try to buy it 10 years ago, it would have been $1 bajillion. And now it's only like $250 million. So, they're like, what a bargain. And they also, the problem with Sega's online stuff is it's very Asian focus. It's more gacha games and stuff. That's what their teams are good at making. They're not good at making games to exploit children in North America and Europe. So now they're like, well, Roxio knows how to get money from children in North America and Europe, so let's help them make more money out there because we can only exploit children in Asia.
Rovio. Maybe they'll have Rovio make like a Sonic Angry Bird or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you throw a Sonic at things. Sonic spins up and then goes pew, and there's coins.
A small piece of hot gaming news. There is a demo available today for Street Fighter 6 on the PlayStation Network. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I bet it only lets you play with 2 characters though. So what's the fucking point?
Have you heard that the Suicide Squad game has been delayed till next year? Because people did not like that preview.
It looks horrible. And I was kind of on board with it. I thought, what a fun idea. Let's get away from Batman. Let's do something weird. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. That sounds great. And everything I've seen since then has made me violently ill.
You don't want to play Destiny, but with Suicide Squad? Oh, look at those numbers.
But also the character models just look like shit. Though I guess I'm not the target audience there because I say the same thing about those Batman Arkham games. Everybody looks like shit.
Yeah, I don't love the art. I think Batman looks good in the Arkham games.
I agree with that.
But everyone else...
All the villains are terrible looking. And the Robins look awful, and Catwoman is just an ass that moves.
Catwoman is a walking fleshlight. That game.
Vanessa, do you have any hot gaming news?
Oh, sure. I guess the hottest gaming news is, let's see, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League got delayed till 2023. Did you talk about that?
Well, it is 2023. So...
Right.
2024.
2024. Some company bought Angry Birds.
Oh my God.
Can you talk about that?
Never mind, Vanessa. Forget about Vanessa.
Yeah.
Oh, one more small piece. The Disney trading card game got a preview. How do people feel about that? I think it's called Disney Lorcana. It looks
Does Vanessa play a Magic the Gathering ever? Is Vanessa into that kind of thing?
I tried to be in middle school, but none of the boys wanted to play with me.
Aww.
Once I tried to play with them,
and go ahead.
They told me I wasn't playing it right, even though I was beating them.
I tried to play that game in middle school, and I couldn't understand the rules. In any way, shape, or form. I remember the little booklet that would come with decks back then, and I would try very hard to read it, and it was like reading fucking Sanskrit. It was nothing to me. I could not comprehend it.
All right, well, let's move on. Matthew, how did you level up?
Oh, I have a couple of things to talk about. I feel like one of them I should maybe save more for next week, so I'll just kind of briefly mention that I started playing Ghost of Tsushima. And it's fucking great. That's it's a little older. It hit PlayStation Plus or whatever. Maybe it was always on there, and I just happened to run across it. I don't know. But it's really scratching that open world itch before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. Like, it's gorgeous, and the combat's fucking fantastic, and it's fun, and it's got a great minimalistic UI, and it's gorgeous. But I know you two haven't played it, and Jim has, so we can talk about that more next week when Jim is back.
Mm-hmm.
My other level up is that I watched a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it's called?
I know it's a movie you've both seen and loved, and so that this will spark a very positive and happy discussion. I watched a movie called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. What did y'all think of that movie you both definitely saw?
I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp.
This is the next one after that.
Oh. Avengers Endgame? No, wait. That was before Ant-Man and the Wasp. Was it? No, it wasn't.
I can't keep track of that.
Was it?
They got blipped in the post-credits.
Right. That's right. Okay, so the last Ant-Man and the Wasp movie I saw was Avengers Endgame.
Johnny, what's your hot take on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania movie you definitely saw?
I did not see it. The last Ant-Man movie I watched was the one before the first one, which I was barely paying attention to. It was okay.
All right, great. Well, once again, we'll do one of those Matt level ups where he just kind of talks to himself.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Friends, listeners, I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and it was hot garbage.
Oh,
I
really?
think it might be the worst Marvel movie I've seen. I hated it. It
Did
looked
you see
awful.
Thor?
Many scenes were
Thor was bad.
the original Thor.
Yeah, I hated
That
it.
one is, but the original Thor has like 45 minutes of like good fun stuff where he's like stomping around not being Thor, learning about Earth with Natalie Portman. That's really charming and fun, and then it gets really stupid. Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania looked like garbage. Everything was very clearly set on a green screen. It did that. I've been thinking of this as like a post-COVID and a COVID thing, but maybe it's just something that bad movies do that I didn't really notice before, where every scene is either somebody like walking into a room or a close-up. You know what I mean? Like nobody's ever actually sitting in the same room as anybody. They're always just on a green screen, staring slightly off the camera. It's awful. The plot was bad. It was real bad. It was dumb. It didn't hang together very well. Paul Rudd and I know her name, but now I can't think of it.
Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly barely were in the movie. It felt like not that they didn't have scenes in the movie, but just kind of like barely showed up. They just kind of stood around and said their lines. Michael Douglas certainly gave it his all, but his all was quipping constantly, and it was not very fun. Michelle Pfeiffer still gorgeous. Jonathan Majors is in that, and he's really good. He's certainly a fucking really good actor, and I can see why they would want to hang a lot of upcoming stuff around him. But unfortunately, content warning, it's probably not going to happen because of some things that happened recently.
Mm-hmm. It's not looking good for him.
It's not looking good for him, and I'm not gonna get into it really, I guess, because this isn't that kind of show where we talk about that stuff. Well, sometimes it is, but it's not tonight. But, if everything that has been alleged is true, I don't really want to see him in any more movies anyway. And, probably the thing that aggravated me the most is that they fucking ruined MODOK. They absolutely ruined MODOK, one of my favorite stupid Marvel things. The stupid mechanized organism designed only for killing that is stupid and, like, silly and, like, it's cheesy, but, like, they tend to make it work really well in the comics, and they really ruined it here. It was bad. It was really, 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 really bad. And it looked terrible. He looked god-awful.
Is
and
it
I didn't
still
really want to believe it, but
Patton Oswalt doing the voice of MODOK?
no, it's Corey Stoll.
Why? But they already established that it's Patton Oswalt. Why would they go back on that?
I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't use Patton Oswalt in the role. He'd probably do it much better. Corey Stoll looked awful. And I like Corey Stoll as an actor, but ugh, he was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely garbage, and I was ranting about it all night long and all day today after I watched it because I was very disappointed. I think it might be the worst Marvel movie I've seen, and there are some... Well, no, The Eternals is still worse. The Eternals is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But...
Really?
It certainly was closer to The Eternals than anything good. It just felt like a cheap piece of crap. And the sad thing is that you can tell that they spent a lot of money on it, and there was like parts where the CGI looked really good, but really good looking CGI with really poorly blended people in the foreground on a green screen. Just, it doesn't work, gang. You can't make your whole movie on a green screen. Can we just fucking stop it, please? Disney, you're the real fucking problem here. Stop making your whole goddamn movies on green screens. It looks like shit. Nobody acts well. It's not fun to watch. What do you want? What do you want us to do?
I think the way that they film stuff, I mean, it's harder to do with a sort of really fast-moving action movie on, because like something like Mandalorian is slow, and the virtual sets work because they're projected onto screens around, and so people have an idea of where they are. And apparently, as an actor, it's pretty cool.
Didn't they do that with that Star Wars Obi-Wan show as well? And that thing was just a fucking hunk of junk.
Yeah, but that I don't know. I haven't watched all the episodes of that, but I think with Mandalorian, it worked well because it gave them a sense of place. Like they weren't just on a green screen; they could see where they were, right, and sort of see what they were interacting with, and they sort of had a set in the middle, and then it was just the background that was CG. So maybe with Obi-Wan, it was more CG, or they filmed. I don't know if they filmed it the same way as Mandalorian. I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, I remember when Andor was coming out, they said it was the first one in a while where they weren't using that.
Okay. But that apparently actors like it and directors like it, and everyone likes the virtual background because it does. It's like having a matte painting behind you, right? Like it gives you a sense of place versus a CG. And yeah.
I don't know if they used that with this movie, but if they did, it didn't help.
They can't, I mean, because it's Ant-Man bouncing around, it wouldn't really work in the same way, right? Like, because it's
that's
so
not really true. This
kinetic.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, this was kind of flat. The action scenes weren't anything to fucking write home about. I don't know. It just was not good. It was bad. I was really disappointed.
So I don't think it is going to be possible for Marvel movies to get to where they were pre-Endgame and Infinity War and all that. What do you do?
I'm starting to think, well, here's what I think they should do is probably it's time to put the Avengers and that whole thing on the back burner. Mm-hmm. Maybe continue producing smaller shows with some of those characters, but otherwise stop fucking using them. And either I know that they're working on this Fantastic Four thing, and I don't see why, because I don't think it's going to help. Mm-hmm. But honestly, my suggestion to them would be put the fucking Avengers on the back burner for a decade, start a new X-Men franchise. Yeah. Spend some time building that and getting people into that, because I think it could work. And then you could do X-Men versus Avengers and bring those characters back, and people would be very excited. But if they just keep pumping out content with these characters that people are fucking tired of, it's not going to work. And on top of that, we've gone from, the truth is Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America were always kind of B-list characters in Marvel. At least, not always, but for my entire fucking life, it's been X-Men and Spider-Man. And X-Men and Spider-Man, that's the big stuff at Marvel. And they managed to turn these D-list characters into gold with these movies. But that doesn't mean that every character now needs... It doesn't mean they can pull it off with every character, and now we're really stretching into fucking Z-list characters to keep things going, and it's gotten really boring, and it's unfortunate. And I've liked some of them. I really liked that. After I watched Ant-Man last night, I rewatched about half of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and I still fucking love that movie. I think it's fantastic. So I don't think that I don't think that they can't make good movies. And I don't think all the characters are bad or whatever, but I think it's too much, and they need to veer away from the Avengers characters for a while, years. Get away from it. Do something else. Do the X-Men. You bought fucking Fox. Do the fucking X-Men. Don't force a fucking Fantastic Four movie
No,
to tie this
they wanna
next thing of Avengers together, because nobody fucking cares about the Fantastic Four movies.
they want to
sure you
tease
can
the
make a good
X-Men for the next 10
Yeah.
years.
I don't really like that either, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, so like now we know that, they said in Ms. Marvel that Kamala's a mutant, but they haven't done anything with it, and it's like, what's the point of this? So like the X-Men are just bumming around in the background and we never see them, and you're just not going to use them, I guess, and instead we're going to get Sam Wilson, Captain America, and Bucky Barnes, and I guess fucking more Ant-Man and Doctor Strange.
Hi.
And Thor, who's overused at this point.
Hi, Vanessa.
I think The Marvels looks great, and I'm excited for that movie, and I hope it doesn't let me down.
I think it looks great too. The preview that we saw looked really, really good, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good. So, and now I'm losing faith that they can really pull it off, because a lot of these movies have looked like they're going to be good and then have turned out to be not so great since Endgame. I don't know. It's like they shot their wad and it was great. And instead of now, in retrospect, like I said, I really feel like maybe they should have legit 5 years ago said, hey, let's just put the Avengers on hold for a while and come back to them after we've established something else. And, again, the X-Men is a great example of something that they could do and then tie in with the Avengers, and it would get everybody excited.
I'd like
But
to
the
see
way
them
they're
do
going now-
X-Men with like a limited slate of characters, like maybe just the original characters, although that doesn't really work for female
I agree with
representation.
you. I think they would need to. Yeah, I think they would need to change it up representation-wise. I think that there's no reason that fucking Cyclops can't be black and Iceman can't be
for sure.
Hispanic, and there's no reason Jean Grey has to be a white girl, and like none of that stuff is important to those characters. So why, we don't. I don't feel like we need to keep that. I think they could mix it up for sure. But I agree. I think that a limited run of like the original 5 would be a great idea. Just give us a couple of movies. But instead, they're going to do what all the other X-Men movies did, which is like, we'll pick our favorites and then just kind of forget about the rest. We'll cameo.
I don't want to see Wolverine anymore.
I do think what Star Wars did of taking, not just after the kind of bad Episode 9, but even after Return of the Jedi, they're like, okay, let's take a break for 15 years and we'll come back when things are different. And I think
I agree.
That was a good idea, and I think that they're doing the right thing by kind of concentrating on small stuff right now for Star Wars, because, like, especially after Solo bombed and people got weird about the last trilogy. Yeah, I don't know. Take a break. It's fine. There are other movies you can make, and that's what George Lucas wanted to do. So obviously what I'm saying is George Lucas was right about everything.
But they just announced that they're making more Star Wars movies.
Yeah, but they're not making a new trilogy, at least. So that's an interesting thing to do, I think. And honestly, I wish that with some of this stuff like Star Wars and Disney and Marvel, like, give it a break and maybe just focus on doing some smaller shows if you really want to keep those people around and you want to keep pumping out content for Disney Plus. Like, that's fine. But we don't need 3 or 4 Marvel movies a year at this point, particularly when half of them are not good. And the same with Star Wars. I'm excited about some of the things that they announced, but I don't have a ton of faith in what they're doing. Why are we? I'm not sure that this was true, but I think I saw that The Mandalorian is going to get wrapped up in a movie. And why? Why would you do that?
Money. And that's how Matt leveled up.
Yay!
Yeah, I did monopolize there. I apologize. Vanessa, why don't you tell us how you leveled up?
I went to go see a comedy show of a comedian who I had never heard of before. And her name
Jeff
was...
Dunham.
It was Death Denham. Oh, you probably
Wilbur.
said Jeff Dunham, not Death Denham,
he definitely did.
Classic Square Roots character Death Denham and his racist puppets. Hey, Corduroy, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about how everyone made of felt sucks. Get it? Because they're racist puppets, Like, so it's the material that they have a problem with. That's a cutting social commentary. I went to see a comedian called Hannah Berner. I have never heard of this lady, but apparently she is wildly famous. So the fact that I had not heard of her is a me problem, not a her problem. It's not really a problem at all. I don't mind seeing people I've never heard of, especially if they come recommended by a friend. Her stand-up was funny. She also does podcasts, I guess, and was
I do
on...
a podcast.
Oh, yeah, me too. And she was on some kind of Bravo show. I know she was on a Bravo show because the audience was 95% women, I would say, which was a funny experience for a comedy show. This was in a big theater, totally sold out. Had another show that evening that was also sold out. And it was the friendliest, best audience you can imagine because ladies love it when they're hanging out with ladies. I showed up with my friend and got a glass of white wine, went to go sit down in my seats, and immediately made friends with the women sitting around us because everyone just wanted to chat and have a great time. It was a super positive experience, and she was funny. I also finished Poker Face. I've recommended that several times now, so I'm not going to stress the point too much more. But
A question?
Yep.
I didn't finish it. Did you feel like it wrapped up well?
Yes.
Good.
I did. It had a great cast. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was on one of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of a bunch of Rian Johnson favorites, I guess you would say. Who else? Adrian Brody was in it. Ellen Barkin was in one of the episodes. Tim Blake Nelson, I talked about before. Tim Meadows.
Ooh, Tim Meadows.
Yeah, Luis Guzman. Everyone's always happy to see him. Show me one person who isn't, you can't. Everyone's always happy to see him. Rhea Perlman, Tim Russ, great actor.
Why are you naming celebrities? Sorry, I lost the thread here.
They're all guest stars in Poker Face.
Yep, they're all guest stars in Poker Face. And you're right, John.
Movie.
Why?
Well, in Canada, I don't believe.
Oh, I see.
I
Not
can
because
watch
you're
that.
like against it in some way.
Yes.
So those are my recommendations. Go see female comedians who are popular with women. You'll have a great time. There were, a handful of men there, most of whom had been dragged by their girlfriends, but there were tons of groups of women all by themselves. So if you're looking for a lady and want to meet some, maybe try a comedy show, Why not? Why not be interested in what women are interested in, and then maybe you'll be interesting to women. That's my dating tip.
Like JRPGs?
Yeah, women love JRPGs.
Like JRPGs?
They do?
Yeah.
Like PUBG?
Yeah. PUBG I wouldn't call a JRPG, but that was a really good guess. So, Johnny, how did you level up?
Oh, gosh, I hadn't considered this. How? Well, first of all, I have learned that when men, all interactions between men are tinged with violence or the threat of violence. And so, like, when a man is interacting with another man, this is according to a lady on Twitter, this is what all her male friends have told her, there is, all comments are sort of made with the implicit threat of violence. Like,
That sounds like something a psychopath would say.
If this quarter pounder is not good that I'm ordering from this McDonald's menu, I may inflict violence. And if you are misbehaving as a customer here in my McDonald's in front of my work family, I will cut you. And so, yeah, men are just living in this world where they imagine violent intentions and size up, I guess, the other people around them, and basically use their alpha male instincts to protect themselves and their families. I've learned that is a thing that's happening. I've misconstrued all my social relationships over the years. I didn't realize there was inherent threats of violence in everything.
It's
Yeah.
weird because if you asked me, I would not agree with that, but I would say that when it comes to interactions between males, there is always the implicit understanding that we may bang each other's moms.
Oh. See,
Jim
mean,
would've
I've
thought that was
always
funny.
like sized guys up and
Where's
been
Jim?
like, is he stronger than me? Is he bigger than me? Are his kisses going to be gentle or maybe strong with a hint of danger? And that's sort
No,
of the
I
sort of thing
definitely-
I think of.
I mean, between Jim and I, as the two token straight men on the
Alphas.
show,
No, two podcast alphas.
every conversation we have definitely has a thread of violence behind it. Look, I'm like, are you going to finish Baldur's Gate? And he's like, yeah, for sure. And then in my eyes, he can see if he doesn't, I'll kill him.
Wow. And when he said, yeah, for sure, he's like, are you questioning me? Don't question me. Let me play. I'm going to play as much as I want to play, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's like the subtext, the simmering tension between. Maybe like these guys are misconstruing like sexual tension with violence.
Maybe.
Is that what's happening? So I like looking at her profile. She is a Christian. She loves Jesus. So obviously the world is full of men who just want to kill each other. I don't understand. I don't understand people. Is this ranting
When
about
Jesus
conservatives?
was talking to his apostles,
There's always
do
a
you
hint
think
of
that
violence.
every conversation had a hint of violence underneath it?
For
We
sure.
shall be fishers of men, or else.
I'm a woman, so of course every conversation I have with a man is just me trying to assess his net worth to decide whether or not he is worth my time.
Whether or not you should baby trap him.
Yep, that's right.
So I wrote that a
Oh
comment.
no, I'm pregnant.
I wrote that comment basically along those lines about giving wondering about their kisses on her initial post, and she like responded haha, that's so funny. I guess you'll have to think about whether what sort of choreography you're gonna do together. And then I replied with I was thinking about what kind of, I was like, yes, it would be like this. And I should have gone for that one Rammstein video where all the men are oiled up. I didn't think about that till afterwards. I feel like my initial choice of the Village People milkshake video where they're like singing about milkshakes and all dressed in like white leather. She didn't like or respond to that tweet. But so maybe that man shaft video or whatever it's called by
Hast?
No, it's not Du Hast. It's another song of theirs. It's like Man versus Man or something, and the video is just sweaty
I only
men
know
in
one
a
Rammstein song.
an oil wrestling pile, and it's very deliberately homoerotic. And I feel like I should have gone with that one. She might have blocked me at that point, but that's totally okay. But I did play some video games. I was playing more
I'm gonna grab a drink.
with my steering wheel, and I really like that steering wheel. Although it does there's a rally game, and each it has a super long course that's like 20 kilometers long, and so it takes you like 15 minutes to complete. That is a workout.
Oh.
Like trying to do rally. I don't know if you've ever like driven along like a twisty mountain road. Like even if you're not, driving speedily, it's like work. And driving rally racing with the steering wheel is, you're kind of like, like really working that wheel. It's very physical in a way that the game's a lot easier if you're just like tapping directions on a controller. But if you're playing with a wheel, it's like, oh, this is literally tiring. And like there's a couple of points where you have to do these hairpins, like, and you do have to like really, turn the wheel and then shift backwards, and you should be using your e-brake. I don't know. It's interesting how much harder it can be with a wheel. Yeah, it's fun though. I do have a lot of fun just zooming around with my little zoomy wheel. I wish it had a little honk honk in it, like so I could be like Maggie.
You should get like a squeeze air horn kind of thing. Not an air horn, but you know the ones that just go, awooga. That's
Yep.
the one. An awooga horn. Put it on
think
your
you're
desk
right.
so you can squeeze that. What a loss for society that we don't use those horns anymore.
They've been taking a lot of Taskmasters off of YouTube because I was like,
Who has?
has episode 3 aired yet for season 15?
Yes.
It's not on Canadian YouTube unless I think if I could pay for it. I could pay for it. I mean, I like this content. I could pay for it. I think that's why is that it's available to buy, so they're removing access to it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
From where I live. Here.
I have a very special Taskmaster rule, and my very special Taskmaster rule is that I will always pay for it if it is available for purchase, even if, by some weird chance, I have already seen it somehow.
Yeah.
And that's how I
definitely
justify
did
my
that.
crimes to myself.
I still need to buy the entire series of Community. I know there's like a Blu-ray set with every episode because I definitely watched most of that by other means.
Yeah. And at that point, it becomes sort of a loan, right?
Yeah. So if I pay it back by buying the Blu-ray new, where they get a percentage of the profits, yeah. And then everything's okay.
I feel like I've streamed Community enough times that they owe me money at this point.
Yeah, that's true. I have now watched it streaming. Quite a lot, and watched it TiVo'd with commercials back when it originally aired. Because I did live with someone who paid for cable during the last 2 seasons of Community, or last 2 aired seasons of Community.
I signed up for Yahoo just for that season of Community.
Yeah, me too.
They also had that Mabim Bam show that I thought was legitimately brilliant. It was only 6 episodes, but I loved.
I own that on Google Play.
Yeah, I've been wanting to rewatch it. Actually, I might see if it's.
It's cheap.
See
It was
where I
like
can get
I think it was like $10 or something off of Google.
It was
Play.
so silly and stupid.
Yeah.
I loved it.
What a
what
great
a shame
show.
that did not.
Yeah,
Get
I would have
the
watched more
traction
of that.
it deserved. Yeah, me too.
That tiny town where they're driving around the cops.
That was great.
That was so good. Anyway, let's move on to Vanessa's game Answer Smush.
Yeah,
Smushmouth.
it's time for Smushmouth. Vanessa's stupid game.
called by its right name.
Oh,
It's Vanessa's
sorry.
stupid game Smushmouth Matt Edition.
I
I've
don't
been working
like
really.
being catered to.
I'm not catering to you. I'm trying to make it more fair by having things that you have heard of. So it took me a long time to think of things that you'd heard of, but I think I thought of some, so we'll see how this goes.
I've never heard of anything.
For those who don't remember, the way you play Smushmouth is I will read 2 clues. The answers to each clue smush together to form one mega answer. You will buzz in if you
Buzz.
think you know the answer. Yes, Matt.
I'm just testing out my buzzer.
Oh, okay.
Buzz, buzz, buzz.
Yes.
Just testing out my buzzer.
Oh, okay. It is working. Round 1. Bing, bing. Oh, for those of you who are concerned that this will be unfair to Jim because he is not here, that is what we call a Jim problem. And Jim problems
We did
ain't
this during
mine.
Jim's game when Johnny missed an episode, so I don't know why we would not do it here. And I never
Round
miss
1.
episodes, so it's not ever going to be a Matt problem.
Round 1.
What round is it again?
Round 1. Clue
Buzz.
1. Yes, Matt.
Just testing my buzzer.
Okay. Clue 1. Eeyore is this kind of animal. Clue 2. Sora
Horsey.
wields... you did not buzz in, so I'm afraid that
I'm
does
just
not
talking
count.
out loud.
Clue 2. Sora wields this special weapon.
Buzz.
Yes, Johnny.
Donkey Blade.
It is a donkey blade.
I wanted him to say horsey blade. I was trying to mislead him.
That was a good tactic. Perhaps next time you can try answering the question.
Fast.
Clue 1. This is the real name of Robin as featured in Young Justice. Clue 2. Miley Cyrus's father had a hit in 1992 with this earworm of a song. Just gonna sit back and wait for someone to buzz in.
I only know one song. So, Buzz?
Yes, Matt.
Dick Grayson, My Heart?
Incorrect. Johnny, do you want to give it a try?
Sure. Buzz?
Yes, Johnny.
Dick Breaky Heartson?
Incorrect. The answer was Tim Drakey Breaky Heart. Tim Drakey Breaky Heart.
I mean, it's Dick Grayson in the first season. Right?
Yeah, but that doesn't smush together.
You should have said like Robin in like the third season.
I'm sorry. Let's do that round again. Clue 1. This is the real name of Robin in the third season of Young Justice. All right. Let's move on. Round 3. Clue 1. John Cho starred in this live-action version of an anime, which was canceled by Netflix after just one season. Clue 2. This battery-operated game was first introduced in 1965 and
Buzz.
features Yes, Matt.
Cowboy Bebop it.
Incorrect.
No!
I will continue to read the second clue.
Okay, so can you start over?
Sure. With the first clue?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Clue 1. John Cho starred in the live-action version of this anime, which was canceled by Netflix after just one season. Clue 2. This battery-operated game was first introduced in 1965 and features game pieces named Adam's Apple, Funny Bone, and Charlie Horse.
Buzz.
No, you already
nope.
buzzed. Buzz. Cowboy Beep Operation.
That's correct.
I buzzed too early.
It's all right. It was a good effort. Clue 1. This green-skinned Dragon Ball antagonist shares their name with a half-sized flute. Clue 2. This animated series premiered in 2020 and features the voice talents of Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome.
Buzz.
Yes, Matt.
Piccolower Dex.
It is Piccolower Dex.
Yay, I got one. I got 1 point.
Next round. Clue 1. This is the full name of the primary protagonist of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. Clue 2.
This is making me feel bad.
Clue 2. Sheev Palpatine was behind this command, which resulted in the execution of most of the Jedi.
Buzz.
Yes, Matt.
Randolph Order 66.
It is Randolph Order 66. Next round. Clue 1. This Final Fantasy character believes the world is divided into two types of things. Those you can eat and those you can't. Clue 2. Captain Picard says this word to make ship go.
Buzz.
Yes, Matt.
Queena Quake It So?
Incorrect.
Right.
Buzz.
Yes, Johnny.
Queena Quengage.
It is Queen of Quingage.
Engage. Why did I think it was Make It So?
Well, he also says that. He says
He
both
does
of
say
them.
that. Next round. Clue 1. This portmanteau describes a popular genre of television show. Clue 2. This is the nom de plume of the father of teen hero Invincible.
The nom de plume? Oh. Buzz.
Types of genres of... Yes, Matt.
Rom-com man?
Incorrect.
Oh.
Johnny, do you have a guess?
No.
The answer was Sitcomedy Man.
I
Sitcomedy Man.
I didn't know sitcom was a portmanteau. What's it a portmanteau of?
Situational comedy. Situation
Sitting
comedy.
comfy.
Sitting comfy. Round 8. This pair of characters, who appear in multiple Final Fantasy games, take their names from the Star Wars series. Clue 2. This person is described as one who affects a provocative or extreme persona, especially online.
Buzz.
Yes, Matt.
Biggs and Wedgelord.
It is Biggs and Wedgelord. And our final round. Clue 1. This dog-like Mario RPG monster inspired Johnny to make his best joke ever. Clue 2. This dish of ground meat combined with additional ingredients inspired the stage name of Michael Lee Aday.
Sorry, say the second part again?
This dish of ground meat combined with additional ingredients inspired the stage name of Michael Lee Aday.
Sorry, one more time? There's words and I can't understand them.
This dish of ground meat, combined with additional ingredients, inspired the stage name of Michael Lee Aday.
What was the first clue again?
This dog-like Mario RPG monster inspired Johnny to make his best joke ever. Maybe I'll simplify the second clue. This is the stage name of Michael Lee Aday.
I don't think that was... Oh, here we go.
Buzz?
Yes, Johnny?
Below Meatloaf?
It is Below Meatloaf.
Oh, below me. I could not remember the name of a dog-like Mario RPG character to save my life.
I didn't know that was his real name.
Now you know. That's the great thing about Answer Smush Smush Mouth. You can learn lots of things. Great round. Picking up 1, 2, 3, 4 points. It's Johnny. And picking up 1, 2, 3 points. It's Matt. Very close round.
Those were so catered to me that I'm kind of embarrassed.
I have
And I
never
still only got
seen
3 right.
The Invincibles or whatever that's called.
That show's good as hell.
Yeah, I've had enough people blow up in comedies, and like gory comedies are not my thing.
It's not a comedy, but it's definitely...
Yeah, it's not funny.
Very
It is
gory.
Really? Oh. No, thank you.
It's more of a
Drama?
like The Boys, but like without the edgelordy stuff for the most part. Like it's not. It's just kind of about. It's kind of a superhero drama. It's good. It's about
No, thanks.
Superman's son.
All right, let's move on to the Quest Loge.
Quest Logue.
Le Quest Loge.
This week we're going to talk about Chapter 7. I don't remember the voice I did at the beginning of the show that everybody hated. I need to try and recapture that.
It was
quest
like,
log.
it was sort of.
Yeah, it was
no,
like my happy, calm voice. Like, Welcome back to the quest log.
I think my voice is more anime character. Matthew, are we ready to do chapter 7? I think we can do it with the power of friendship.
Back to the main quest.
Yeah.
We get our final dream sequence. All right, I'm going to stop now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we get one last dream sequence.
Uh-huh. It's
And
true.
it's-
This one's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
We hear a voice talking to us, and it's all like, well, I'm a piece of shit, and bleh. It's Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know it's Ball. But this time when it talks to us, it doesn't make us feel all like scared and confused and concerned. Instead, we feel strong and we feel toof, and we like reject the voice. We're like, fuck you, voice. I'ma do it without you. And then we decide, and the way that we're going to do that is by murdering Saravok.
So you wake up with a raging boner.
Yeah, a raging murder boner. The Ball boys have murder boners. So we head back to Baldur's Gate, and in Baldur's Gate, we quickly learn that Scar, the leader of the Flaming Fist, has been assassinated.
Was he thrown off a cliff and then stomped on by antelopes? Or no, that's how his brother died. How did Scar die?
Yeah.
Was he eaten by hyenas?
Oh,
That's right, he was.
Is the answer to what you were looking for. But
That's
no,
a
he was
pretty
not. In
terrible
fact,
fate.
You can learn more about what happened to Scar, which is that he got what there's people are saying is that he was robbed and killed during a robbery in an alley, but everybody kind of thinks, but it was probably more of an assassination.
Yeah. I definitely...
And also...
Yeah. Duke Eltan, who is like the leader of Baldur's Gate,
we met
he's
him
taken...
back in chapter 5.
He's taken ill mysteriously and is being... Because they think that it might be a poisoning thing, they've been taking care of him in the Flaming Fist compound. And there's a new leader, acting leader of the Flaming Fist, called Angelo, the dog from Final Fantasy VIII.
We also learned that Intar Silvershield... So there's several Grand Dukes in Baldur's Gate. Duke Elton being one. Intar Silvershield being another, and Intar Silvershield has died, and now Saravok is primed to take his place as a Grand Duke. And you can kind of approach this however you want. You can go back to the Iron Throne and talk to people there and kind of kill your way through that place. You can go if you go.
Wait, I thought that isn't Intar Silvershield the dad of that one lady? Sarah or whatever her name is, Sela. But he's alive in the next one.
He's alive right now.
He's dead right now.
Oh.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty positive he was dead. You can look it up if you don't believe me. I don't care.
Maybe your dad is someone else.
Yeah, maybe I'm mixing
there's
up
multiple
very
Grand
similar
Dukes.
names. Yeah.
If you get seen by a Flaming Fist guy in town, he will arrest you, and then you will be taken into the Flaming Fist compound, where Angelo will kind of try you for murder and lock you up. This is really hardcore because if you say the wrong thing to him, he will fucking kill one of your party members outright,
permanently.
He's
and
like,
forever.
Kill one of them.
Yeah.
Oh. That guy doesn't... He kind of sucks.
Yeah, he's super
and you
lame.
Also, you get help escaping. You don't. That doesn't have to happen. You don't. If you say the wrong thing, one of your party members will die. But if you don't, he'll just throw you all in jail, and then you can get help escaping with the help of a fucking child murdering gnome by guessing the number of children he's murdered. It's great. It's good stuff. Really like this.
30 something? Is that right?
33, I think.
Shit.
Yeah.
His name is Neb.
You know, he does... How does he give you... Oh, he, gives you, a riddle. But, fortunately, Andraste just was, whispered in my ear, 33. I was like, oh, thanks, Andraste. And then we high-fived each other. So I didn't have to do math.
There's a couple of questions
wonderful.
I'll ask you.
Yeah.
But I also had the help of Andraste here. So once you get out, you can then decide to break back into the Flaming Fist compound and save Duke Eltan. Did everybody do this? I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't. You don't it's interesting. The game. So here the game kind of opens up, and it's a little bit vague. It's like, okay, figure it out. Like, what you gonna do? Like, sort of like the way a good DM does. And I like that it really doesn't point you in how you do it, but kind of every person you talk to like gives you like a hint, like basically even just random townspeople kind of give you a hint on a direction you can go.
Yeah.
But I know Vanessa kind of had a hard, or at least Vanessa, didn't you say you? Okay, I don't want to like blow your spot or anything here, but didn't you say
can
you
blow it.
Didn't know which way to go here, or what happened?
Yeah,
how did you handle this?
I looked at a guide that sort of talked about different places you can go to, because I had been to the old Iron Throne building and went through there and got a lot of clues about what was happening. And I did get arrested and ran away from that. And then the sort of one thing I didn't know I could do was go back to the Flaming Fist building and talk to them, because I didn't want to kill any Flaming Fist guards, because I did at one point when they attacked me, and you lose basically all of your karma if you do that.
You lose half of your reputation if you attack the Flaming Fist guards.
Yeah.
Even if they attack first.
Yeah, even if they attack first, and they will follow you into the sewers, because like this guy attacked me. I was like, oh, I'll run into the sewers, but no. So I kind of had to save scum a little bit here just to avoid running into any Flaming Fist. I didn't want. I didn't want Minsk.
Go ahead. You didn't want. I didn't
want Minsk to be mad at me. He's like, I do not. Boo says if you keep acting like this, I might have to kill you. No, he says you get your butt kicked.
You can kind of sneak through the sewers for the most part here, and they will chase you. But I found that if you just head to the nearest exit, they won't catch you. They're not faster than you, and you can move on to another area, and they won't follow you, like in the city.
Okay.
But I had to do some safe scumming here too, just because the sewers are not well designed, and that it's not easy to tell where is what. So I definitely felt confused, and I would pop out in random places and be like, God damn it.
Well, I mean, you can pop, like, what I did was I'd, like, pop out, look at my map, see where I was, and be like, okay, so this exit's there, that exit's there. I did run into someone who was like, I heard this lady at the brothel telling me all sorts of things about how they were involved in the murder of Scar. And I was like, oh, maybe, that sounds like a lead I'll follow. But you tell me about the Duke way first, because what I really like about this is it's open in a really interesting way where you can sort of like solve this chapter. There's no right way to solve this chapter. There's just a bunch of different ways to solve this chapter. And I like it when a game does this. That gives you a lot of different, like, very... I've never used a guide for this game except for Durlag's Tower. That's the only time I used a guide. And I didn't use a guide for this, and I still figured out where to go just by talking to everyone. And I like that. It's a good game. Good game design.
Well, you can go back to the Flaming Fist compound after you escape it, and at this point you can attack the Flaming Fist guards in the compound and not lose reputation. I went in and cleaned house, and Duke Eltan is there with a healer named Rasad, and Rasad pretty quickly reveals himself to be a greater doppelganger. So I killed the doppelganger, and then I put Duke Eltan in my inventory. He asked me to take him to the harbor master at the docks, who is, I think, a gnome or a halfling or something. And
something like that.
So I had to sneak Duke Eltan through the sewers, and I took him to the harbor master where he would be safe and cured, and that was good. And I also went to the Iron Throne building and decided to kill everyone there. And no, not really. I think there's a few servants and stuff that just leave you alone or run away. But
Well, plenty of people ran up to me and they were like, I just want to get out of here. This place sucks now. And you can either let them go or not.
And I found I think I had to kill somebody, but I didn't write it in my notes, so I don't really remember now because it was a couple weeks ago when I played this. But I found Saravok's diary, as well as letters between a man named Slythe and Saravok detailing a plan to kill the rest of the Grand Dukes. And we find out that the assassins, Slythe and his wife, Kristen, it's a very fantasy name, Kristen.
Yeah.
Are in the Undercellar, which is that underground brothel, which is what Johnny was being pointed to as well, I think.
Yeah, Kristen is spelt like a white wine mom named her. It is Krystin. And if you are named Krystin, that's valid. If a white wine mom actually spelled your name, it would have 2 N's. And listeners, if you're named Kristen with 2 N's and a K and a Y, you're still valid. I'm just being silly. Your name's fine.
Everyone's name is a name.
You can't be drinking it all the time.
But it's wine o'clock. My little sign says so.
It's true. And my throw pillows.
So you went to the Johnny,
but hold
you went
on.
to the Undercellar first?
Matthew, we were both right. Antar Silvershield was assassinated and does show up in the Siege of Dragonspear scolding his daughter. You might say, how can a character be killed and yet show up in the follow-up? And the answer is
we resurrect people all the time.
Yeah, they resurrect people all the time. And I do like that because it does seem like, okay, you assassinated this guy. Whoop, 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 he's fine. The sound whoop 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 is actually me doing magic. That's how you do magic.
It makes sense. Yeah, I mean that's how I picture it in the game. Is they're just like whoop 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 whoop.
Well, in the game, there's 2 voice samples, one male and one female, going like "Bikar Draconis Vlernomion," and with like a lot of echoes and like magic sounds attached to it. It kind of sounds like an anime, a little bit like those whoop 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 whoop. Sounds.
Someone in the mod
Johnny,
community should make a Baldur's Gate mod where they replace the spell sounds of Big Horror Draconis anime with whoop 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 whoop.
Yep. There is some game. It must have been a Vic 20 game or something that used that noise a lot. And I can't remember which game it was, but it was something that... I was going to say... Go ahead.
They should replace the teleport sound with.
I did manage to. I played. I forgot. I actually played 6 hours of a game last weekend, and I forgot to mention it. And it was like I thought I just like sat down and played it for a minute, and it turns out I played it for 6 hours. I played the Series S and X update of Morrowind, where it runs at 60 not Morrowind, the other one, Oblivion, where it runs at 60 frames per second and 4K. And I was playing Oblivion, 60K frames per second. I did send some pictures of I've been in a Bethesda mood because I sent some pictures of mods I was messing around with on Skyrim, but I ended up playing just vanilla Oblivion on Series X, which runs amazing and looks fantastic because it's got auto HDR, so you got all the cool lighting effects, and they do it works really well in this game, and it's up. Like the UI has been scaled to work in 4K, and it runs super creamy smooth and looks so good. Yeah,
Speaking
definitely.
of Morrowind, I would love to play that game on the show sometime.
Yeah.
We should put hard.
that. I think we can do it. I mean, there's a lot of, if you play it on PC, there's a lot of Andraste you can do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I read once an interview with James McAvoy. That's right, Professor Xavier himself. And he was talking about how he played Oblivion for a long time, and then he realized he was doing it all night long all the time and was too sleepy to do his acting, and so he had to put it down forever. Because it's that good of a game.
It's a great game, and it's like, it's one of the few games that I just like going back to. I like the world, although I do think I've said before that I like Oblivion more than Skyrim. I've been really delaying doing the Kvatch stuff because that's when the Oblivion gates start showing up and the game kind of becomes worse.
Yeah, they're very repetitive dungeons.
Yeah.
Oh man, the next game's going to be so good. Maybe I should just play Elder Scrolls
never coming out.
Online, but I feel like it would let me down.
Well, if you do play that, I will play with you.
Oh.
And so
You
will
guys can play
Matthew's
with-
mom.
No. Yeah, so will Matthew's mom.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right, so Johnny,
I just wanted...
you had a different take here. What did you do?
Yeah, so I forget who told... I think it was someone... I met some sewer people and they were friendly, and I talked to some people who were like, hey, yeah, you should definitely, I think it was like a Flaming Fist guy that gave me this info that you should go check out Slythe and Kristen.
Yeah, I think I
down at the
maybe
brothel.
remember a Flaming Fist guy that's like, no, you're cool. I'll tell you what's up. I'll tell you what's up.
So I went
Angelo
to
sucks.
go, and sort of the journal's like, you couldn't.
Oh yeah, there
you
is a
could.
guy that's like, yeah, I'm quitting. I'm done.
Yeah. You could check out Duke Eltan, or you could go check out these folks in the at the brothel. So I went to the brothel because I remember that you can just walk into it through a sewer entrance. So I did that through the sewers.
I did that too, and it took me a long ass time to find the entrance.
I always just randomly stumble into it. The only thing is that it doesn't look like there's an entrance there because it's like kind of in the shadows. You have to move the mouse. I don't know how it works on PS4 over to see that you can exit. It looks like a dead end, but there is an exit there. It's sort of obscured by the angle of the game. So I walk in and Slythe and Kristen are like, hey, honey, how was like killing the Duke? And she's like, oh, yeah, I killed the Duke last night. I also picked up some sausages if you want. Those are in the the ice box upstairs. Oh, thanks, sweetie. So was killing the Duke okay? Yeah, killing the Duke was fine. I just like shoved a knife into his ribs. Or no, killing Scar, sorry. Was killing Scar fine? Yeah, it was good. I like lured him out into an alleyway and he thought he was rescuing me and we totally killed him. It was great. Sweetie, did you have anything to drink today? Do you want me to pick up some water? Yeah. No, I'm good. I got some wine goblets here. So yeah, we're good. Thanks, sweetie. Love you. Love you too. And they like make air kisses.
That sounds like a great, healthy relationship. I like it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
they communicate well.
It was way stupider than that in the actual game. This kind of bugged me. Like, these people really are just sitting in the middle of a brothel having a conversation about how they murdered all these people. Like, haha, I love killing people. Yeah, killing people's great. I killed the Duke and it was cool. Killed Scar and it was awesome. I love you,
because all
I love
the
you.
brothel employees are there too.
Yeah,
So
and
it's not like they're
customers.
saying they think they're alone when they're saying this.
Nope. But, at least they do communicate. They really have a very open discussion in their relationship, and they're communicating about their goals and, giving each other a lot of feedback. And I think that of the relationships we've seen in video games, I think this might be one of the healthier romantic relationships.
Yeah, super.
So we kill them both. We do kill them both.
Yeah, so we kill them both. I mean, they don't give you a choice. They're like, oh, it's the hero of Baldur's Gate. We want to fucking kill you.
And frankly, I just kind of get sick of couples that are showing off at how great their relationship is like this. So
Yeah, they would totally
if you're
have like a
posting about-
TikTok or...
If you're posting on Facebook every day about how great your relationship is, everybody knows it's in trouble. Like, we all know. You ain't lying.
No,
You're like, you're
I
only lying to
genuinely
yourself.
think, sure, they have a couple's Instagram account, but I genuinely think that they have a healthy and vibrant relationship. They just also like showing off. So I do murder them. They get very mad when you kill the other one. But frankly, they shouldn't have attacked my super angry squad and killed my best friend, Scar, the sexy lion dad, or whatever his name was. He wasn't sexy. He was like scrawny. It's a scrawny
Scar,
lion.
the sexy lion dad. He was kind
Yeah.
of sexy. I think Jeremy Irons did the voice.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it had that sort of dripping, like, disdainful British accent that all the ladies
That's true.
love.
And he was queer coded.
Of course. He's
yeah.
a Disney villain.
So we do end up murdering them. And on them are letters saying, here's what I did, here's the plan, from Saravok and to her, and detailing everything. So now I have... See, I don't know if you guys stopped by the palace, but there's Saravok is about to be crowned best duke.
He's going to be...
Best
I said
Duke.
this already. He's going to become a Grand Duke because Antar Silvershield was dead, and we also have learned that that the people of Baldur's Gate really support Saravok. They think he's fucking great.
But he's going to clean up all the crime on the streets and really...
He's a real Trump.
Yeah, and I did stop by the palace, and they're like, oh yeah, there's going to be an inauguration ball. Unfortunately, you're not allowed in unless you have an invitation. And fortunately, those two dum-dums did keep their invitations on them. So
Vanessa, did you not go down to the
tickets.
sewers?
I went down there for sure.
Oh, you did.
I found lots of bodies as well.
Invitation.
Did y'all see that?
There's a
That
lot
there
of
were-
bodies in
Yeah,
sacks.
the sewers were just crawling with bodies. It was gross.
And you can put it. They're all 150 pounds each, so you don't want to load up with bodies into your inventory.
Yeah, and I don't think you could sell them for very much. Or anything.
Maybe that guy down
So-
south of Baldur's Gate there in the High Hedge, he might be like, I
maybe.
could possibly have some use
I could
for
use some
these."
bodies. We get this invitation, and we decide to head to the palace, the Ducal Palace, and interrupt the inauguration.
Ducal, poop.
You walk through the door, and you do get to listen to him talk for a minute, and then they notice you, and it's suddenly everybody has their swords out, and it's like, it's the murderers.
I thought this
and
was
then
going to be the end of the game. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
A bunch of the nobles in the room turn into doppelgangers all of a sudden, so you have to kill all of them. And then once that happens, you can give all of these letters and bullshit that you've collected to this, I guess, another Grand Duke named Belt. I wasn't really clear on who Belt was.
Belt
There's a
is
great
one of the
scene here,
grand.
though, where-
There's Belt and Leah are both Grand Dukes.
Yeah, and one of them has to survive this fight in order for you to get a good happy ending.
And
Oh, I see.
I won this fight, and then nothing happened. So I won this fight, and so Saravok was standing there, and I was like, okay. I clicked on Saravok. He's like, "You will not survive this." I'm like, okay. I walked around. Was like, okay, who do I have to talk to? I kept clicking on him. I was like, can I? So the only thing that moved things along was I could shoot lasers at it, or fire at him, and then it would start a fight. But I reloaded my save, and it had glitched out and didn't go into the thing that happens
Weird.
next.
There was a great line here where where you approach Belt, Grand Duke, I guess, Belt, and you're like, I have papers that prove that Saravok is behind, the murder of Ventar and the poisoning of Duke Eltan. And you give the papers to Belt, and Saravok's like, no, we'll kill him now. Like, he's the murderer. And Belt is like, you shut your fucking mouth. That's what he says, but he's like, you won't do a thing until I finish reading these papers, bud. And then Saravok immediately is like, well, fuck it, my plan's fucked, and he teleports out.
Well, he did.
I did
At least
read-
for me, I fought him a little bit first.
I fought him a little bit as well. I did read that if you don't have enough evidence with you, they'll just kill you at this point.
Huh.
Wow, I didn't have that problem, but I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool. I mean, I think I would be
Yeah.
pretty frustrated if that happened to me, but you fight him a little bit, I think, when you're fighting the doppelgangers, but once you give the papers to Belt, he teleports out, and then Belt is like, well, looks like Saravok was behind all this. Thank God we didn't make him a Grand Duke, and also, Hero, you need to go kill Saravok now, because that's kind of your only option. And he offers to divine where Saravok went, which he does. He talks to his god, and he tells us that Saravok went to the Thieves Guild, and then he teleports us straight there, which was great. Thank you.
Yeah. I hadn't been to the Thieves Guild before. I guess
Me
I'd
neither.
been in the building, and then they were like, get the heck out of here. So I'm like, okay, my bad.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a good boy.
And-
I'm not going to join the Thieves Guild.
I guess if you're a bad boy or bad lady, you can end up here and do quests for them. There's a whole, they're like, hey, this dude headed through and was like knocking people over. Do you want to follow him? You can like rest up here if you want. We have a store. This lady will sell you
There's a lady
things.
selling stuff that I had the goddamnedest time finding. I don't know why. She's like off in a side room that I couldn't figure out how to get into. I was so annoyed
there's
with
like a storeroom in the bottom right that she's in. That'll sell stuff.
She had a lot of
And
good
you
stuff.
go down.
I stocked back up on +1 arrows and +2 arrows and +1 everything else.
So there is like another thief knocked down in the basement. He's like, "Go after him. I'll be okay. Don't worry about me." And you
You
go
have to go
down
through the thieves'
into
maze.
the first real dungeon of the game, the thieves' maze, with the
it's
first
not- it's
real
really not-
boss of the game.
It felt like a real weird thing to throw in here because it is very small and it does not take long. So it was just like, let's just put one more obstacle in their way.
There is one area I had a hard time with, but Vanessa, you were going to say?
It's just another long hall with many traps.
So many traps. At least they were
Loses.
nice. When there are traps, they do put like a little sigil on the wall, being like, and I didn't know what the red sigil meant, but the green sigil definitely meant, "Hey, trap here." Do you notice that whenever there's traps, there's a little mark on the wall?
I didn't notice that, but I like that a lot. I had really wished throughout this game that there had been little marks in the sewer for navigation.
Yeah, that would have been
yeah.
helpful. So,
So
we go through the thieves' maze. At the end of the maze, you find this guy whose name I didn't note, but you find this guy that's like Saravok's mentor, and Saravok has basically attacked him and left him for dead. But he is still like, you can get some info out of him. He very much is still like, I've done it. I've made Saravok into the, he's going to become the new god of murder. I'm the best boy. I'm really
And he's
proud
like,
of everything I've done.
you're a son of Baal too, so go ahead and murder me. You know you want to. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, don't show me pity. That's even worse than murdering me.
Yeah, I told
He
him, I
got
was like,
real
I'll
mad
leave
at-
you for the authorities, my friend. Like, good luck spending the rest of your life in a cell.
But can I tell you about the hardest boss fight in the game here in this
Yeah.
maze?
Was it in the
There's
maze?
there's these
Okay.
two skeletons, like two
Skelly
little
boys.
skeletons with they were down a super long hallway. To get to them, you had to disarm like 3 traps, and they were very high level skeletons that did lots of damage to you.
Yeah, shooting
and so
arrows. Skeleton
Yeah.
archers are the fucking worst in this game.
and they had like really powerful magic, like those +2 fire arrows that do tons of damage. So like they could very easily, as you're trying to like disarm traps and get towards them, just randomly kill half your party. And this,
You gotta-
like I kind of rage quit again at this point, but then I came back the next day. I was like, okay, because I realized I was getting mad, so I didn't rage quit. I like preemptively quit before I
That's
rage quit.
smart. That will like save
Yeah.
your controllers, and it's good for your blood
Keyboard,
pressure. Good job,
yeah.
Johnny.
So I came back the next day. I was like, okay, let's try something. So like I had those little fasty boots on Imoen, and so I like ran up, got their attention, then ran back around the corner, and then like set traps for them, and like lots of monsters summoned, so they like walk around the corner and then get killed by all my summoned monsters. And so yeah, you can do it.
I
It's
put
just-
the fast
you have to think about
boots on my main character and just blew through the traps and ran up and smashed them.
That's a good
you
idea
use them,
too.
You use them fast boots, they're handy.
Yeah, I put them on Imoen.
I'm
So anyway,
against strong skeletons as a concept. Like I know you can drink a lot of calcium and have good strong bones, but skeletons as an enemy should never be that tough because it's just a skeleton. Like
Yeah.
it's not wearing armor. It doesn't have a fleshy protection covering it. It's not that hard to break a bone. People do it all the time.
So we exit the thieves' maze, and it exits us into the Undercity. This is basically the last area of the game. You have to go. I mean, it's basically a straight line. You can wander. I didn't bother. There's a lot of ghouls and ghasts around, and it was pretty clear that I just needed to go straight ahead. So
I think that's like all those side things are. Do you need to level up? Here are some powerful monsters that will give you lots of XP. So I don't mind that they're there.
You run into yet another evil adventuring party here and have to kill them all.
Yeah, that was great.
These guys are just fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I did. It was a little tricky. I kind of had to hide my mages because they were all like just throwing fireballs and stuff. So like I kind of hid my party and then sent my 2 tanks out in the middle and had them draw these people forward. And it just took a couple of tries to get through this. It was a kind of a tough fight. But that, you finally get to the Temple of Baal. That's where the unnamed mentor said that Saravok would be. Mm-hmm. And you get there and it's got the Baldur's Gate logo in the middle, and every like single fleck of that Baldur's Gate logo is a trap.
Yeah, the whole thing is
that
traps.
was so
It's
weird.
Traps everywhere. There's monster summoning traps, there's fucking lightning traps, there's fire traps, there's poison traps. It's all traps. Saravok is on the far end of the room. And I didn't realize it, but once you go and attack him, he is fucking not alone. And in fact, his party almost feels harder than he is. There's an archer that will fuck you up. There's a mage that will fuck you up.
But
There's a lot of
as
strategies
soon as
for this. You can disarm some of the traps and then try to draw Saravok down to the corner and then kind of, I don't know, paralyze him or surround him with summoned monsters and try to pick his party apart. It's real tough. I had a tough time. I died several times fighting Saravok. Unfortunately, he doesn't say much interesting. It's just kind of like, you'll die now, and you guys fight. The end.
Were you playing on normal or easy for this part?
Well, let me tell you about my strategy for this fight, which is that after he killed me a couple of times, I put it on story mode and killed his ass.
I tried a few times on normal. I was like, well, it's getting late. I don't want to just sit here being angry. So I did just put it down to easy. On easy, because I'd done it a few times, I was like, okay, let's just concentrate on him. I killed him in like a minute. It was just like, pew, 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 everyone throwing all the magic at him. He like exploded away, pretty much.
Once he dies, it's over too. You don't have to fight the party. But I did read, I was reading about people that, there's a lot of strategies to it. So you pick the party off first and then go after him and stuff like that. That made a lot of sense. I think it felt like he had fast boy boots on too, because Saravok can book it across that screen.
Yeah, he really can. And his his mage party member does like dimension door around, and he's really annoying.
And if you fuck up and like move to the wrong side of the room, you'll summon a bunch of other monsters to attack you, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. I do recommend
to be honest,
summon
I
monsters.
can see how playing it on like hard and like really getting into the strategy could be fun, but I didn't love this final fight, and then it really just kind of farts to an ending here. You get a little cutscene of like, you saved the day, the end, bye.
Yeah, it's like the big logo is an elevator, and you start getting down the elevator. It was a weird short ending.
Yeah. It definitely felt like it was like set up for some kind of sequel.
Or DLC or whatever.
Baal appear or something and be like, now you're my special baby, and you can choose to accept or reject that, something like that.
I guess. I mean, Baal's dead. That's kind of the point.
Yeah. Well, it's like a Highlander situation. And I think like the next game is even more Highlander-y, the Throne of Baal.
I think that Baldur's Gate 2 maybe also has a DLC called like the Throne of Baal that really gets into the details on this stuff. But this one you just kind of wrap it up. You Highlander Saravok's head off. You don't really gain any power or anything. It's like you did it. Congratulations.
Yay.
But it's not the end for us. Because we started playing
seamlessly, even on PC, just goes into it like loads up the other game.
Yeah, it does not.
Yeah.
Fuck around. It takes you right into Siege of Dragonspear. Which
Did
is
you
great,
notice
actually.
that your journal, like my journal still had all my quest from Baldur Gate 1 in it?
It still said Chapter 7.
Yeah.
during this interlude. So, Siege of Dragonspear begins with an interlude. A few weeks have passed since the end of Baldur's Gate, and we are now known as the hero of Baldur's Gate, because we're fancy boys, or girls. And it kind of explains to us the setup. It sets up the story for this in a quick little cutscene. We learn that there's an army on a holy crusade. Its leader's name is Kalar Argent. I'm probably saying that wrong. And it says,
Nope,
I'm just going to quote
that's
this. It says, "Some say she is divine, a hero sent by the gods to crush evil no matter the cost. Others whisper she is another spawn of Baal."
Ooh.
She's another nut spawn.
How
So
does
I
everyone
mixed
know
up-
we're a spawn of Baal? That's weird.
Yeah, I guess people have. It's like a gaydar, but like a Baldur. It's like, oh, is he? And then like the hand signal for a spawn of Baal.
So
It's like little growly.
Yeah. We cut to the
so I
House of
mixed
the
up.
Dead.
Sorry. I mixed. You're going after Korlaz here, who's the last follower of Saravok, and I thought Korlaz was Kalar. They have, I don't know, the names are similar.
Yeah.
And so it's like I got really confused by the end of this interlude.
You just kind of
like, is
drop
this it?
into the Korlaz family tomb, which is where Korlaz is hiding. And we find out that Korlaz is holed up here. We're approached quickly by Imoween, who is now leading some Flaming Fist mercenaries, and she kind of tells us what's up. She's like, Korlaz is the last follower of Saravok. We want to capture her or kill her, and that's it. We have to deal with her. So the first thing that happens is you run into this enemy wizard who sees you and teleports across a chasm so that you can't follow him. But then he also kind of spills the beans and is like, "The sword is already gone." And we're all like, "What sword? What are you talking about, dude? We're here for Korlaz. Sword?" I got news for you, gang. I don't think this sword is going to be relevant to this game. So, fun.
It's very weird, but I kind of liked that. Like, it makes sense that people make assumptions about other people's motivations. It's a true to life reflection in this work of art.
So there's a character. So I had Imoen in my party, and Vanessa. You had her in your party too, right?
Yeah, it's me, Emoen.
You gotta. She's. It seems
You're
like
a couple
she's
of
a good
queer
character.
fellows.
Yeah, you're a couple of queer fellows. But since she immediately is like, "Hey, I'm training to be like a mage now. I don't have time to hang out with you. I'm learning all sorts of things about magic and my body, and I'm busy, so I'm not coming with you. I'm going to follow you 5 steps behind with this healer at this merchant, so you can buy things and heal yourself. And so since Imoen is not in my party anymore, maybe the horniest character of any game we've played joined my party.
Hornier than Ibsen.
Who's Ibsen?
Was it Ibsen? Is that his name?
From what?
From a
Who's the character?
Oh, Safana.
The little
Issun.
Issun.
Yeah. She is hornier than Issun because her name is Safana. She is a human thief, and she is a companion. What?
We'll talk about it next week, but my full party came because I did not have Imoween, so I didn't have any trade outs. But I picked up Safani to join me in one of my
Gwen
characters
Stefani.
in Siege of Dragonspear. Yeah, Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
Now I'm
So
really excited to
Safana's
learn more about
like,
this horny rogue.
if you click on her, she's like, "Can I help you sexually?" And you open up her inventory. She's like, "What of my items would you like to touch?" And then she's kind of aggressive in a disturbing way. She's like, "Don't you want to touch me? I'm so horny for your button pushing, player. I just really want I really want you to
fucking great.
interact with my character sheet." Oh, she's always having an orgasm. Like she's got cursed with the
I'm
curse
too
of
excited
many
about this,
orgasms. Vanessa, what's your feeling? Like, is there a condition where you're just having orgasms all the time? And is this what Safana has?
Sometimes I see questions that men ask on the internet. And one of the questions I saw was, how do women keep themselves from having an orgasm every time they put in a tampon?
Ooh. And do you think she just has tampons in? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think she just has a tampon in, so she's having an orgasm all the time, because that's how it works.
What's your feeling about her embracing her own sexuality?
Well, generally I'm all for it, but she seems to be engaging people in like her kink who have not consented to it. And that I think is more of an issue. Also,
We'll talk about. Yeah, sorry, you go ahead.
This is a workplace, and I don't feel that her behavior is like workplace appropriate. But I had been flirting with that monk a whole bunch, so I guess I'm not really the best example to follow.
Yeah, especially consider
my party.
Your Mass Effect history with Caden and Snake Boy, and also your Dragon Age history.
Right. Yeah. But things were different back in the day, and it was expected that, like, if you didn't come on to your secretary, she would be offended. So,
Yep.
So there's that. And I was confused by this character. I guess we can get her in Baldur's Gate 1, but none of us did. Is that the case?
I mean, I did recruit her, but she was so horny. Like, she was off-puttingly horny all the time. I was like, you can stay home. It's fine. I think we'll be okay.
Daughter that we tried to like rescue from that
that's
guy?
Sky. That's Sky.
Yeah, Sky
she's just
also is going to show up here in Siege of Dragonspear, but I think she is Corlin's girlfriend. I had Corn. I never ran across her for some reason, so I don't really know.
Well, I think at this point, ex-girlfriend. We'll talk about that next chunker.
Well, yeah, that happens. That happens next chunker.
But
so this is a small dungeon, and it's not. There's not much to talk about. You kind of wander through it. There's some catacombs. Even starting
here, you get a lot more inter-character dialogue, which I do like.
Yeah.
And a lot of like Dinah here talking to Sky, and like characters commenting on the other characters, like motives, and Dinah here being like, I'm surprised that you did this. This is you are surprisingly talented at this thief. And Safana's like, oh, yes, you like what I'm doing, huh? You like that I'm a good pickpocket and I can open these traps? But I don't know. There's some really good inter-party dialogue, even in this little chunker.
We as we head through the dungeon, we find a letter from Korlaz telling us that tells us that Saravok's sword has been put on a ship to Athkalta. And again, I don't think this is going to matter in this, so I don't know why they're putting so much time in it. There's a few side quests here. You can find a ghost staff for it. You can find a mushroom or something for a lady. Which is
I also didn't. Yeah, and there's some like side
for the lady that wants the mushroom. When you bring it back to her, she tells you that she needed it to make a special potion or whatever that will unveil like hidden writing in some books in Candlekeep, and then she asks you to write her a letter of recommendation to get her in. It's kind of weird, but I did it because I'm nice.
Yeah, I expected that to come back, and maybe it will, but
I don't know. I think it probably will.
Maybe she's up to something. It seemed like she was up to something, didn't it?
Yeah, I was using a guide. One of the guides I was using to put the notes together, though, did specifically tell you to do it. So I was kind of like, well, I guess I'm glad I did.
I don't think I did any of these things, but it's fine. It's fine.
There's some puzzles with colored torches and stuff.
I just opened the Safana's inventory, and it does seem like she's equipped with a cursed girdle of multiple orgasms.
I don't know how that's
why.
curse, actually.
Because imagine if you're trying to work and you're like, okay, so we've got an order in for 1,000 units, so just send me the PO. Just send it to me. Yeah, send it.
Sounds amazing.
And yeah, you get dehydrated.
Exactly.
Anyway, once we clear out these catacombs, we find Korlaz and we fight her. She surrenders, and then you can either accept her surrender, wherein she will go be taken by the Flaming Fist to be arrested, or you can kill her. Did everybody kill her? I assume you all killed her.
No, I
not.
arrested her.
Yeah,
She did drop all. I was like, drop all your items. Come here. I'm going to pick up all your goodies and get all those fun magical items. None of them were really good.
No, there's nothing. That was amazing.
Yeah. And she's like, don't worry. You'll be able to trust me. I'm a very good No, wait, that's Safana. That's not her. She's just mad at you. She's like, just kill me, dummy. We're all murder kids. I want to be the bestest murder daughter, so fuck off. She's great. I like her. So I thought, and then, so once you do that, the game's like, and so the age of Saravok was over, and the heroes returned to Baldur's Gate for rest and relaxation. The end.
Yeah.
I was like, is that it? Was this DLC? This isn't 20 hours. Where's was this Dragonsphere?
Yeah, that was the Dragonspear. Well, we will find out what happens next week. I think we'll probably finish up about half of Siege of Dragonspear. I don't know exactly what that is, so I don't know if you're playing along. You'll
Figure
know
it
when
out.
you see it. I mean, I don't want to read ahead, so it's about a 20-hour DLC. Play about half of it.
Did you find in this prologue the guy who wanted his staff put back together?
Yeah, Matt did that. He said it was just XP.
Lots of XP.
It's like a
I'm
ghost.
And
sorry,
there was-
Matt. I sort of tuned out.
I think there was maybe like a magic item with him too, or maybe you can steal it back, but I don't know. I never do that stuff. We go back to Emmeline and we climb back out of the tomb.
I've never climbed a rope, and I remember this was like a thing in gym class where you're supposed to climb the rope, and I was just like, the gym teacher's like, okay, do it. And I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not climbing this rope. We're just going to sit here because nothing's going on. I am not climbing. I've never climbed a rope.
Climbed a rope either, but I don't recall being asked to. So
Really?
I don't know.
Oh.
I remember climbing ropes in gym class and not being able to get very high. Now I'm able to get very high.
Yeah.
I don't
But I
think
don't.
that kind of like physical activity is best for every student. I always liked to play, and I liked to dance all right, and I wish that schools would kind of vary up what they offer, because not everybody is motivated by a competition sport in that way. That's Vanessa's sports soapbox.
Well, this was the 80s, so the 80s.
What was it like to be alive in the 80s, Johnny?
It was a lot of humiliating gym stuff. That's what I remember.
There was
Anyway.
there was the Nintendo. You could play that Nintendo.
Yeah, that was fun.
the old one.
I like the old Nintendo. I played the VIC-20 because we didn't have an Atari, but we had a VIC-20.
I had an
That was
Atari, but
before
it didn't
Nintendo.
work.
Oh, well, that's sad. We had one of those Pong machines, but I think a dog broke it. I think the dog broke it or something. I don't exactly remember. I was very little at the time. Anyway, so that's it for this chunker, as Matthew said. There are no. Well, I guess there are some like side quests, like this kid was wanting to be reunited with her family or something. I didn't do any of that because there's police all around who will destroy your reputation if they see you. So,
I did a couple. I'll talk about one. In the midst of all of this nonsense going on, I ran across a woman that my party member Corin knew, and she basically was like, "You son of a bitch, our child is missing." And Corin basically is like,
Oh,
"I don't really
golly.
want to be a dad, but I guess we'll go figure this out." And you find out that some wizard has taken this kid and, I don't know, is going to murder him or some shit. It doesn't matter. I killed him and brought her kid back. And she was very excited, but then was like, "Corin, stay with me." And he was like, "Nah. I prefer being a deadbeat dad."
Wow.
So that was a nice thing to learn about that character.
Yeah. And he's good aligned, too, isn't he?
Wow.
I think he might be neutral.
Uh,
What about you, Vanessa? Did you run across any side quests here?
Not that I recall. And I'm sorry I don't have a more exciting answer than that. I guess, well, actually I did. Now that I think of it. I ran across a side quest where this woman or these children were afraid because someone kept peeking in their windows at night. And I talked to them about it, and then I talked to this man who was there with him, and he was like, "Yeah, it's this witch. She is a doppelganger, and she comes and she peeks in their windows at night, so you need to find her and take care of her." So then I came back at night and was looking around the house and couldn't find anyone, and I went inside, and the woman was there, and she was like, "No, I'm their legal guardian. There's this guy who's been peeking in at them at night, and he's the real peeker." And you were like, "Oh my God, he was here earlier." And then I never finished this quest because I was too worried about
It wasn't that
by
important.
the guards. So I don't know what the culmination was or who the real peeker was, but it was pretty disturbing. These little kids were like, "They look in our window."
I think in that case it means that it was you. You were the peeker.
I probably was the peeker the whole time.
Yep.
I couldn't help it. They look so cute when they're asleep and their little mouths going.
No.
Everybody likes to watch children sleeping.
I'm uncomfortable with this. Anyway, I didn't really do any side quests here.
I guess I should disclaimer: limit yourself to your own children.
Yes.
When you're watching children sleeping.
If you do not have children, get a pet because they are super adorable when they're sleeping and they put their little
They're so cute, and they took their little head upside down.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Matthew, what are you roundly for or squarely against?
It's actually kind of a tough question for this chunker because I guess I will say that I'm squarely against. I feel like the end of the game was very abrupt and kind of anticlimactic. I mean, it was still a great game. I enjoyed it, and I was glad that I finally killed Saravok and, finished the game. But I did just kind of feel like it just kind of ground to a halt and was like, all right, bye. Nice to know you. What about you, Johnny? What are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against that annoying hallway. I mean, there were obvious ways to do it, but those skeletons were just picking off my entire party, and a last-minute maze is just not what I wanted. Like, it's a literal maze. There's no treasure rooms. There's nothing to find. It is just a maze. I don't like a maze. Don't want it. What about Vanessa?
I am squarely against your reputation being halved if you defend yourself from the unjust attacks by the Flaming Fist Guards. I think it's bullshit that you, an innocent party, should be the one whose reputation suffers because you get into an altercation with the police that they have provoked at no fault of your own. You can quote me on that.
That's a challenging take, Vanessa.
Is it? Is it? Is it?
It definitely goes against any of the laws in either of our respective countries. Where you cannot defend yourself against police officers legally.
That's true.
Anyway, yeah. So we do have a Patreon. Oh, before we get to that, do we have any emails?
Oh, I don't think so.
There is one, Matthew. Do you remember that email? It was directed towards me, so why don't you read it?
Let me find it.
Oh.
Yes,
I
we
saw
received
you-
an email from Travis, who asked, "Can Johnny please tell me how I leveled up by sending you this email? Thanks for all the great content." Johnny, how did Travis level up?
Travis leveled up. He got +3 to Constitution, which is always really good
Well, that's a
because
lot.
that means you're gonna be super healthy. You have lots of hit points, and you also don't get sick. You don't get sick as often if you have a
Yeah.
lot of points in Constitution. And +1 to Charisma because he's charming for having written in. Thank
Wow.
you, Travis.
Great job, Travis. We're proud of you.
Yeah.
You know what, Travis? I'm going to bestow upon you this +1 pen that you can use to write us more great letters.
+1 pen of email writings.
All right. Who wants to talk about our Patreon before we leave? And by who, I mean,
I think
not me.
Vanessa.
I wanna talk
wants
about
to tell
it.
us about
Yeah.
our Patreon.
The Patreon, it's pretty cool. You can send us some cash money, by which I mean digital money, and then we will give you rewards and prizes. Reward and prize tier $5 prize reward tier is you get to listen to all of our great bonus content. There's like, I don't know, 70 bonus episodes on there. I don't know if that's even true. I haven't counted. There's
I don't think
definitely
so.
at least 70 hours worth of content. Or
Probably.
perhaps at least 30. There's definitely at least 30 bonus hours of content. It's a good deal. Plus, you get to vote on the next game we play for the show. There's a vote that should be closing up right about now at the time of this episode's release. Is that true? We don't know. Only Jim knows, and he's not here. At the $3
There's
level,
like
you get to listen.
There's 4 days left. I posted about it today. So when we're recording, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, Monday might be the last day. When this episode comes out, it might be the last day to vote. So if you have not voted, go vote.
Yeah, last call. At the $3 level, you get to listen to all of the bonus content, but you do not get to vote because we run a poll tax here. And at any level at all, we will read your name at the end of the show. At the end of every show, you ask? No, because we're too blessed with too many patrons to do that. But we'll read some of them, and I'm going to start out by reading Friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, Slightly Aroused Grandma, Jerry Schreffler, Josh Holt, Ron. Maybe I'm just a high-tech VI hat that thinks it's Ben. Ari Kopavari, Shin Megami Tensei 3 in 2023, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Armin Hammer, Julie, hey Julie, Jeremy I Am, and Fresh Eyes.
I'd like to thank Hang It Up, RP Siege, Katie Tolman, Star Drifter, Aaron Serenity Now, Little. What is Baldur's Gate Baldur than? It's a great question. For the Square Roots podcast, I'm Stim Stanks. I'm Keysby Knight, Johnny Five Alive, Gage Lacharite, Justin Ham, Maybe Flesh Guys, and Julian Curtis.
I'd like to thank Mike Marno. Hey, it's me, Imoen. You're a queer fellow. Esteban Gonzalez, Tom, Baldur's Gatekeep, Gaslight, Girl Boss, Bree Girth, Knawford, Michael Tully Klein Jr., CharityWater.org, Tyler Crump, Welcome to the Cute Boy Jail, Honk Honk, and Florian Jonas Kramer. Send us an email. You know our email address. It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. And you can also come see us on our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Tweet at us at Square Roots Pod. We do have an Instagram. I don't know if anyone's updated it in the last 7 years, but it's there. And we are not on Mastodon because we don't understand how it works, and it scares us. Please
tried. It was so confusing.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes. For Square Roots, I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
Howdy ho, neighbors. It's me, Jim Banks, and bye.
Vanessa.
Great job, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Bye.